there's a couple things that I need to do today, which is why I'm outside in the 90-degree heat, melting my face off. First things first, I had to drop the car off to get new tires, so we are out just walking around town. Let's crank up the ISO a little bit. Let's try not to peak anything. Right there should be good. The new Canon R5.
What do you have to say, to share, to express, to imagine?
The most anticipated camera probably in the last 10 years. I hear everybody and their mom talking about the R5, and it comes in at $38.99 on B&H for just the body, which is insane. And then for the 24 to 105, there is a $1,200 jump to $5,000, and that's before tax and shipping. So that's a very expensive setup. But you're getting an insane package. You're getting 45 megapixels for the photographer enthusiasts out there. Like 45 megapixels is insane. I think on my Sony a7R II, I think we're rocking 42. So there's 3 extra megapixels in there. Same Digic processor. But here's where things get spicy. 8K 30 RAW and 4K 120 10-bit internal. That is insane. You get subject tracking and deep learning, which is pretty cool. I think that's something that Insta360 is trying to implement into their cameras as well. And then these ones, you get the dual card slots as well, but instead of dual SD card slots, you're getting a CF Express and an SD card slot. So that's great. Yo, that dude's living life. Little moped scooter dude, just ah, fireworks. Scary, man. Okay, let's go to a different spot. Thanks, man. They usually post a couple times a week.
Hope to see some good content.
Hell yeah. I appreciate that. Have fun, dude. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'm actually curious. Are you guys excited more for the EOS R5, the R6, or are you waiting for Sony's announcement on the a7S III? I'll probably just wait for the a7S III, see if it's any good, see what they bring. I really hope they don't flop on it because Canon really made a statement. I was watching a video last week talking about Netflix approved cameras, cinema cameras by Canon, like the REs, the Reds, like the Scarletts, the Monstro 8Ks, like those are very much approved, obviously, because they're thousands of dollars worth of cinema cameras. But I think it shouldn't matter that this is a mirrorless camera. I honestly think that this will be on the approved list for Netflix. Let me know if you think yes, maybe no. I think it will be. Any camera that shoots 8K, 4K, 120, internal 422, like raw, like it should be a no-brainer. The main purpose of today, oh yes. The main purpose of today was to come out and obviously get new tires on the car. But I wanted to test this lens. You might have noticed that we're shooting quite wide today, like very wide. And no, it's not the 12 to 24 G Master. I would love that lens to try out, but that is not what we're talking about today. But today we are talking about the 12mm 2.8 by SLR Magic. Now this is an interesting lens because there's no autofocus. Not having autofocus is a bitch. It's also cool because it's a more cinematic look. It's a cinema lens. It's a cine lens, which means that there's gears on this lens, so you can attach a follow focus. So what's really interesting about this lens is it has a declicked aperture, so I can change the aperture just by turning the wheel. It is really difficult sometimes to tell if I'm in focus. I think that's a little bit better. So that is the only downside of this lens so far that I don't know if I really like. Like I love the lens. I love the look of the lens. And for the price point, it's a very cheap lens, which is why I was a little bit optimistic at first to pick it up, because it's only a $350 lens on BH, right? That's pretty cheap, and I've bought cheap lenses before and I've been very much disappointed. But I haven't been disappointed so far with this lens. This lens is great because it's super wide, it's a prime, so you're gonna get a sharper image out of it. There's a couple things that are a little bit frustrating to me, and one of them being, well, So one of the things that frustrates me a little bit about this lens is the fact that I have no idea if I'm in focus or not. Obviously I can see the screen and I can tell if I'm in focus or not, but when I'm vlogging and I'm running gunning and I'm just doing a really quick pan over and then having to like do a talking head or like talk to somebody else, or I'm like running and doing this and I'm just, there's so many things going on. Having a manual lens is very difficult, especially when you don't have a follow focus and you don't have a focus puller and somebody monitoring a secondary monitor to make sure you're in focus. So doing all of this as a one-man show is very difficult, but it's also very fun because it teaches you to be patient and it also teaches you to be very meticulous with your shots, plan your shots ahead a little bit more, make sure everything is in focus, and go from there. Also, I'm literally like probably this far from the lens, and look how wide this is. This is crazy. Like I can literally like wingspan and you can see the edges of this. That's insane. I really want to use this as my next vlog rig and my travel rig because, oh gosh, it's about to get real bright here. Hold on, folks. So I would love to use this as a vlogging rig for when I'm traveling and things like that, because I don't want to have to use my 24-70, because if I do use my 24-70 I have to use my 7R2 and that thing is just heavy as fuck. And I don't really want to use that. I'd rather use the 6400 with the small rig cage and the video micro and the switch pod. And it's still a large setup. Like it's still big, but it's not as big. And it's not as heavy because the 24-70 is like 2 pounds on its own. So that it literally weighs like the amount of this setup right here. And you know what I just noticed? I don't give two shits about what anybody thinks right now. There's a fish down there. I don't think you guys can see him, but it's definitely a fish there. As you guys know, vlogging in public or filming in public can be a very daunting task, especially when you're by yourself. All of the time, I walk around here and I'm like, oh, I don't like this town. It's so small. There's nothing to do, you know. And I kind of make excuses for myself of why I can't come out and vlog around here, because there's just nothing to do, is what I always say. There's always something to do if you just put your mind to it. So I'm gonna start thinking more positive and doing that. Hello. All right, sweet, I'll come up and get it. Thanks, bye. Okay, I think that'll be a little bit better. I'm still messing around with this this manual focus thing. My thoughts on this lens so far, no complaints. It looks very similar to my 24-70, but just a little bit softer, but not soft in a bad way. It's soft like somebody threw a Pro Mist filter on, and that's just how it looks. I do not love this heat though. I mean, I like it, but I should be on a jet ski right now. Oh, I think my hair has just officially turned to goop. Has it? I can't tell. It's pretty bad. I'm dying. I'm dying. Oh boy, I need water. Oh no. Oh. So yes, I do like the lens. I haven't seen what this type of footage looks like on my computer yet, but we're gonna see what the 4K looks like, and I think it's gonna look good. And I think this might be my new vlog lens, depending upon how I can get, okay, that's really bright, hold on. Depending upon how I adjust to manually focusing everything. It gets especially difficult when you're shooting sports and basketball, things like that, because not only do you need to focus and pay attention on what is actually happening around you in your physical space, but you need to try to watch the viewfinder, you need to make sure it's in focus, and you need to make the move look good and smooth without a gimbal. It can be quite challenging. I'm gonna go that way. So a little fun fact in case you guys don't know, I actually have massive social anxiety, and sometimes it does not seem like I do or would, but I definitely do. When I'm filming, things get a bit much for me, and I start like getting those like clammy hands, and just my thoughts kind of race, and I feel like everyone's judging me. So I think what I need to start doing, which is exactly what I did today, is to not give a fuck. Try my best, muster up the courage, and just fucking do it. Because you're never gonna get the clients you want, you're never gonna get the footage you want, you're never gonna be able to create those relationships and those connections you want with other people that might even be into the same thing you're into if you don't go out and do it. And that could be talking to a business that you're really scared to, that you want to shoot for, or just go up to a random person that's playing basketball and be like, hey, can I take a few clips for my vlog? It's gonna be dope. Hopefully, if it's in focus. I don't know yet. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna burn, I know it. I can feel my neck just like sizzling already. Here we go. Get out the car. It's way too hot to be doing this stuff. Oh. Guys, I don't know. Oh, I really don't. I'm gonna tell you guys something real quick. 12 mil. What do you guys think? Do you guys like 12 mil? I haven't asked you guys' opinion yet. What do you think? 12 mil? Pretty dope, right? It's pretty dope.
Are you carrying the roller or what?
Okay, sorry for the fan noise, but it's hot. We got dilly bar. I'm ready. Let me flip on some lights quick. More light. Hold on. I'm back in my introvert environment where I'm happy and cooler and eating ice cream, which is the best thing I could ever do on any day. Any given day, ice cream is my #1 weakness. This lens is by SLR Magic. It's an amazing little lens, and it's actually better than I thought it was. Sometimes when I'm on my 24 to 70 and I'm using the A7R II, like, it's 24 is wide, but it's not, you know, like, do I have a battery in here? I don't have a battery. Do I have a battery anywhere? I'll crop the frame right now to show you what 24 would look like on here. And this is kind of what you're getting. But with this, you're getting so much wider, which I absolutely adore. But you don't have the autofocus because it's a manual lens. It's a cine lens. I bought it used. I think brand new, it's about $400 on BH. I bought it used for $369, I think it was. Like, the cheapest lens that I can compare to it would be my 50mm from Sony. Sorry that I'm holding this the whole time. It's plastic. Like, this thing weighs nothing. Like, it would literally fly away in a windstorm. This lens, it's made out of full metal. It is quite heavy for this size. I also want to remind you guys that this is not a review of this lens. It's not a spec sheet, layout, in-depth analysis on this lens. I honestly just wanted to try it out as my vlogging lens for the day, see what the footage looks like, see what kind of quality we're getting out of a $300 lens. If there is any focus issues throughout the vlog where things are a bit soft or completely out of focus, that is not the lens's fault. That is completely on me because there's no autofocus in this lens. So everything that I'm filming, I need to manually focus the lens. And if I mess that up, that's on me. I'm shooting in the sun, it's super bright. I'm also shooting in S-Log, so it's very flat and desaturated, and there's no contrast, and it's very dull, so it's very hard to see what I'm shooting in general. In the same price range, about $400, you could go with the Sigma 16mm f1.4. So with the Sigma, you're gonna get a lower aperture of f1.4, which is beautiful, especially for low light, and you get a 16mm prime, which is still super duper wide, and I might actually look into that because that lens has autofocus. The only downside to that lens for me is I wouldn't necessarily be able to use it on my A7R II. I would be able to if I switched it into crop mode, but this is not a full frame lens. The Sigma 16mm, it's a APS-C lens, so I would have to use it on my A6400, which I would totally be down for because I love this combo anyway. I think it's up to par with my 24 to 70, and this lens costs me almost $1,200. So there's the price difference of around $700. So you can be the judge whether or not the footage looks better or worse. I don't think it's quite this good, but it's good enough. You know what I mean? my ice cream's melting. So I'm gonna get to editing. Dude that I found playing basketball. I'm so sorry I did not get your name. Be cool to know your name. My name's Keith. Yeah, 6 skills, dude. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the EOS R5, the R6. Are you guys gonna wait for the A7S III to come out? What do you shoot? All that good stuff, let me know. I'd love to have a conversation down in the comments. I'm gonna put my air back on because I'm sick of melting. I'm just gonna turn this back on. Here we go.